Every soul has a voice.
And to reveal it or not is a choice.
Hello to all the Homo sapiens out there.
Welcome to the Harumi podcast.
I'm Shirley,
And I'm Elysia.
and today we're going to be telling you why we started this podcast.
So I'm basically a very good listener and I do give apparently good advices.
I like blabbering a lot, and I feel like if there is someone to listen, it would be really great. This podcast is going to be really friendly rather than
Being a professional podcast where you feel like you're being influenced by us.
so. It's just going to be like two friends talking, and you just overhearing their conversation.
It's going to have many funny things and things that are out of imagination.
So, the first thing we're going to talk about today is paranormal activity. Alicia, what do you think about paranormal activity?
So I did not believe about all this paranormal activity till when I was in school days, where once I had to be in the daycare for some time because I was not well. So I was with a bunch of friends and we discovered a toy radio was playing. We were all fine with it because we were kids that time. And then suddenly one of us, while playing, we dropped it down. That's when we all gathered around it and all of us realized that that radio works on battery but it has no battery in it. So we all were scared and we went running back to our classes, and there most of us started seeing red spots on the wall. We were so scared, and then we came back to the daycare just to find that radio still playing even though it's fallen on the ground without batteries. So that's when I started believing that paranormal things might exist.
My experience with paranormal activity differs at different times because during this one time I was obsessed with these movies and books which contain paranormal scriptures in them or some kind of elements which were paranormal. There were times where I would buy haunted horror books just to read them for fun, but it actually, I think, starts affecting our mental state because at a point I discovered that when I stopped reading books and I actually started writing a book about the same, and during that I researched about one of the haunted places in Rajasthan. It's one of the forts and it has a lot of history. It's called Bhangat Fort. And when I was writing this book, what happened, I literally get chills even now when I speak about that. I used to write at night, and usually when people write about the books, they go into that world. I feel that there's a certain imagination regarding about what is happening. But what happened really, to be honest, was that every time I would write about that, I would have a really bad feeling that I shouldn't be writing this book, or what if I mess up the history about the fort in adding towards my intuition towards the story. So I think it messed up all my imagination basically on all aspects of that book. But anyhow, that book after that horror went into a romance phase because I didn't want it to really affect me, or it, because I think, I don't know if you agree with this, but I think it spoils your mental state when you
Yeah.
see horror haunted things, because I think it completely destroys you from this elemental world and transcends you into some other world where you feel like there's some paranormal activity.
You start hallucinating a lot.
Yeah, you start seeing random things appear at random times. What do you think about, is there a parallel paranormal universe?
I don't know, like I've heard stories that there are parallel universe, and one thing I know is if there is a parallel universe, I just hope it's more better than what I'm living right now.
I think all of us expect that. But there are many people who have this view which says that if there is good in the world, there will be bad. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it is like it's there in like most of the legends that good and bad are there and good always wins. And it's like also mostly you do feel like when you're around that good is always like the truthfulness and all that, it always wins. So if there is good, there will be bad. But over here, if you're talking about ghosts, I have no idea whether they exist.
Because I think one person's spirit will exist after that person passes away, But I don't think so until you trouble somebody on your own, like call in the spirit and all of that, it will really affect us. What do you think about the Ouija board and all those kind of haunted games?
I don't know. I think it's just like superstition beliefs. They're just beliefs. They don't actually work out, or I have not tried using those, and I don't want to try also.
Right, because there are many movies in which I have witnessed this kind of things, like the Ouija board and everything, and people kind of make it really fantastic, I think, just for someone to believe that, okay, this is fantasy and stuff like that. So, we would like to conclude about paranormal activities that
It's just that you can imagine that paranormal activities are there. That's your wish completely. But just don't take it to your heart so much that you might go insane about it.